Okay, welcome everyone to DV Talks, where we take the opportunity to discuss our ventures with some of the leaders from those businesses. My name is David Viljoen. I'm a director of venture architecture with BCG Digital Ventures in Sydney, and I had the pleasure of being the general manager of this venture as we incubated it and built it out of Digital Ventures. I'll be facilitating a conversation with Warren, who is the CEO of Sypht. Welcome, Warren. Do you want to introduce yourself and introduce Sypht to the folk online?
Will do. Thanks very much, Dave. Pleasure to be involved in these DV talks. I'm Warren Billington, the CEO of Sypht. So just want to talk a little bit about the business, Dave. At Sypht, we turn documents into data, insight, and action. And we've developed an AI-driven document intelligence platform that helps organizations unlock the value of unstructured data to empower our customers to be able to capture and extract data accurately, but then also derive insights from that data, being able to detect risks instantly, surface insights, and also integrate Sypht seamlessly into downstream systems. And we really provide value in three key areas. One is really to address back office operations through intelligent operations. So that is back office processing, process automation, improving productivity for organizations. Intelligent experiences, which is really addressing front office capabilities. So transforming digital customer experiences and data-driven interactions, which really have an impact on revenue generation for organizations. And then thirdly, around intelligent decisions to make available close to 100% of data rather than the 20% of structured data that's accessible to customers today. And that really talks to the problem we're solving, Dave, fundamentally in market. There is an explosion of data. A lot of that is unstructured in nature. More than 80% of enterprise data that is generated is unstructured. A lot of that is contained within documents. And it's a real challenge for organizations to be able to extract value and mobilize that data, because there is such inconsistency with data structures and formats contained within documents, forcing organizations to really manually process and provide manual input from those documents and that data, and also legacy technologies that have really been trying to address that particular challenge aren't performing up to the expectations of customers. And probably finally, I think there's a really compelling statistic that more than $600 billion of investment is now supporting digital transformation projects, investments around AI, digital, and automation. But all of those investments require underlying structured data. So that's only 20% of the data that's generated is supporting and optimizing those investments. So we believe that's a big opportunity for a company like Sypht to solve for.
Thanks, Warren, for that overview. I know with the new website, you're able to actually show parts of Sypht in action. Do you want to give us a quick demonstration?
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. So this is our website, which allows users to come to the site and actually see what an extraction from a document would look like. So here you can see an invoice, and if we think about one of our major clients, MYOB, where we service thousands of their small businesses. So as you can imagine, small businesses are time poor. They're needing to process invoices and receipts on a daily basis, and are looking for a highly efficient way to do that. So what a small business user would do would upload their document either directly into the MYOB site. They can take a photo of the invoice, and the key data that's required to enter it directly into the MYOB accounting platform is automatically extracted. So with MYOB, we've used an AI model approach to customizing a model for MYOB, delivering really strong accuracy of 90% plus. In fact, over the last 12 months, that performance has incrementally increased and improved as we've processed more data. So it's closer to 93%, with very little maintenance support required by the customer. Another example here is an extraction from a receipt, and again, Sypht is able to extract some of the key fields from that document. And as you can imagine, there is a huge diversity of different invoices and receipts that we process. But by using a machine learning approach, we're ensuring strong accuracy and speed to process each time.
Thanks, Warren, for the overview. And having worked with the API on ventures I've built, I know how powerful it is both in transforming the back office and delivering exciting new real-time experiences for customers as well. So I know you guys have just released an ebook. Would love to hear a little bit more around, what the focus of the ebook was, and specifically what were some of the key findings from the report that stood out for you?
Yeah, a little bit of context on why we wanted to publish. The focus really was to support our customers in terms of some of the key challenges that I've already mentioned around the considerable challenges that organizations have in terms of mobilizing unstructured data. Also, the fact that we're seeing an acceleration of organizations embarking on digital transformation. And prior to publishing the ebook, we actually ran some research with IDM, which really focused on understanding the progress that a number of organizations and senior leaders are having across their digital transformation efforts, and ultimately the challenges that they're facing around unstructured data and document processing. And really what came out of that, Dave, some key insights which are published within the ebook. Overwhelmingly a significant problem across all organizations with unstructured data. Large component of that data just remains in documents and it's never used. So those insights are never used within organizations to drive decisioning. So it's kind of insight left on the table. Interestingly, around a 50-50 split in terms of those businesses that have already embarked on digital transformation and those that have not. And around 50% of companies that are applying some level of technology from a document processing perspective to try and address automation areas within their business. Within that, it is clear that organizations are still struggling with legacy and IT technologies that are addressing or trying to address intelligent document processing. And finally, I think a key insight that there's certainly a desire for organizations to move to cloud-based systems, to use AI-based classifications to address their document processing problems, but less than 20% are actually using them. So there's a distinct gap between the desire and the actual application of tools like Sypht in market.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point you raise, because I know in the work that I do, what is often the case is the back office is swarms of humans that are performing these roles and doing a lot of manual data re-entry, because historically it's only the human brain that has been able to actually interpret information on a page or in a PDF document. Right. In that context, would love to hear what your thoughts are on the future of work, as I know one of the most interesting and powerful parts of the Sypht application is not only the artificial intelligence, but it's actually also how you're able to loop the human into the workflow and actually get the best of both worlds and kind of stagger that transition to a more digitally powered back office and kind of front-end experience for customers. Yeah,
look, absolutely. Certainly from our perspective, we see that it's going to be super important for humans and machines and automation to coexist. I think in some respects, certain expectations have been set around process automation, especially with investments made in RPA technologies. that humans can be removed by machines or robots to process all, to automate all processes. And I just don't think that's the case. If we think about the document processing area, unless you have a very standardized document template, it's impossible to get 100% accuracy, just due to the complexity and diversity of documents. You know, even with an AI-driven approach that we use at Sypht, where we're generating, you know, 90% plus accuracy, there is still a need for a human being to be in the loop to validate the exceptions, to verify key information, especially if those organizations are working in high compliance or regulatory environments. There still needs to be a human checking the data that's extracted. So very early on in the business, we built our own internal tool that you've mentioned there, Dave, called Sypht Validate, which is a human in the loop capability, which we've used for the last couple of years to really help build our models, annotate, improve the continuous learning process of model performance. But we've now started to see a real demand for customers now to be able to have a really intuitive UI and front-end capability that works in existence with the automation process. And I think beyond Validate, we're certainly recognizing that there are multiple frictions that surround the extraction process that are causing huge challenges for organizations. So if I think of some of our key customers in the NDIS space, National Disability, where we're driving claims processing solutions, we're automating a high component of their document processing, but the remaining 10 or 15% is actually causing a world of pain. And for those businesses to grow, they're currently still having to throw human capital at the problem, increase their FTEs, and it's not allowing them to scale as businesses. So there's a super important component to how do we make that last mile, the 10 or 15% of exceptions, much more efficient for organizations. So our approach there is to develop tools like Sypht Validate, but others which remove those frictions, make the human workforce more efficient in managing those exceptions. What we've certainly seen with COVID, initially there was a really strong focus for organizations to drive productivity, trying to reduce costs as quickly as possible. But I think what we're starting to see now, that is not just a short-term focus. Businesses are now seeing the importance of automation from a long-term perspective to support future business resilience, future-proofing their business and managing risk. Because if there are to be similar episodes or events like COVID down the track, then I think we're starting to see businesses wanting to future-proof and manage risk effectively. And not only that, really then thinking beyond cost reduction to how do they stimulate growth and revenue growth through applying digital customer experiences. So ultimately, if you combine automation with efficient and easy to use tools, then that will drive overall productivity. And it's an area that I think a term that you like to use around the bionic company, with the coexistence of humans and technology, and a term that we're using quite often now, which is AI-assisted humans.
Fantastic. Yeah, having seen that tool, I think it's almost the kind of idea of like superhuman comes to mind, because even when the technology is not making the right prediction, it first of all knows that it's not, given every prediction comes with a confidence, and then can kind of flag it to the kind of human back office for processing. So it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah, and what I would add to that, Dave, there are other frictions that we've identified beyond validation. So just the transport of data from one system to another, integrating data into downstream systems like ERPs, RPAs, that is still highly manual for a lot of organizations. and also the need to implement business rules or customize workflows. Again, there's a lot of manual processing involved. So beyond Validate, we'll be introducing a set of tools that really drive some efficiency around all of those friction points for customers.
Great. And so maybe then, Warren, we've talked a lot about the power of Sypht, how it can be integrated for different use cases. But if you're a customer, one of the kind of hesitations is often how long it can take to get up and running with these types of solutions. How quick is it to create a proof of concept using Sypht to actually prove the value of the technology for a specific use case in an organization?
It's super simple. You know, we talk about our platform as being simple, smart and scalable. And from a simplicity perspective, we're enabling customers, as I referenced on our website. It's super easy for customers to be able to try, test and evaluate within the context of our website, but also Sypht Marketplace. So we now publish all of our AI products and platform capabilities within a marketplace environment. So that's allowing customers to be able to test and evaluate and upload some documents initially. But even from developing a POC from a brand new document type, we're able to do that in a very efficient way. So generally, we're able to build a POC within a 3 to 4 week process from a brand new document type. We only need to sample and process 100 to 200 documents. So it's very much lean model development and then prove value and ROI very quickly. And we've run a number of POC projects with BCG in the US as part of their digital transformation projects. And we've been able to prove value very quickly within that 3 to 4 week timeframe.
Yeah, and even recently been building a venture in the auto finance space in a different language other than English, and was actually able to work with the Sypht team to prove value both on the data extraction side, but then also fraud detection within a 2 week period, which was pretty incredible stuff.
And what we're tending to see, Dave, as well, is once we've proven value with a specific use case or business process, then it really builds confidence with customers to then think about broader use cases, business processes, and then really define some prioritization around a roadmap of use cases that addresses multiple business processes.
Fantastic. Well, Warren, thank you so much for your time, and really great to see the progress and impact that the Sypht business is having in market, having worked with you guys closely kind of early on, and then kind of more recently, I've seen, the step changes that you've made in terms of the product and the capability and how quickly you guys can mobilize something to create real value. So thank you so much for the time, and thanks everyone online for listening in.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Dave.